On today's episode of Let's Talk Drones, we are reviewing the Holy Stone HS600 drone. I've had this drone for a few months now, and I have to apologize to the folks at Holy Stone for taking longer than I would have ideally liked to get to this review. I really appreciate your patience and flexibility as you've worked with me through my extremely hectic schedule at the beginning of 2024. But I finally found the time to sit down and give this the attention it deserves. I went through it, I looked at it, I flew it, I did everything I needed to do to understand this drone from top to bottom. I'm going to share that with you now. So let's talk drones. What's up? It's Chris, the Drone Geek, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Drones. Let's Talk Drones is brought to you by The Droning Company, the #1 online resource for commercial remote pilots worldwide. Make sure you check them out at their website, thedroningcompany.com, and across all major social media platforms. Also, check them out on YouTube. Just search The Droning Company. Tons of great drone content on The Droning Company's channel, including some content from yours truly. So make sure you get subscribed to their channel, hit the bell icon so you get notifications every time they post videos, and make sure you check out The Droning Company's website. Again, thedroningcompany.com, the #1 online resource for commercial remote pilots worldwide. So let's talk about Holy Stone as a brand, because this is one that I see a lot of people talking about on forums, in comment sections, wherever you find drone content. Holy Stone's a brand that's extremely popular, and it's not necessarily because they do it better than anybody else. In fact, we know that that's not true because we've got the likes of DJI in the game. However, Holy Stone is popular because of its price point, and it's usually one of the first drones that most people run into when they start researching drones that they could potentially buy. The reason for that is because they have a very strong presence on sites like Amazon and Walmart. So whether you go in person and you happen to find a Holy Stone drone on the shelf in Walmart, or you go online and you look it up, the Holy Stone brand typically has at least a few spots above the fold of the search results page. So that's why a lot of people know about Holy Stone. And quite frankly, I see a lot of positive reviews and comments about this drone brand and the technology that they offer. I had the opportunity to actually sit down and look at this drone and figure out the nuances of how it flies and how it performs. We'll talk about my personal experience here in just a few moments. Before we get to that though, let's look at some of the key specs for this drone. So on paper, the Holy Stone HS600 drone is capable of 3 kilometers image transmission and RC transmission distance. That's around 1.9 miles for those of you in the United States. The video resolution maxes out at 4K at 30 frames per second, and the photo quality is equivalent to 4K at 3840 by 2160 pixels. It's got built-in remote ID, and I verified that this does work. I opened the drone scanner app up. We'll talk about that in just a few moments. It's got a wind rating of level 6, which means this drone should be capable of handling wind speeds up to 31 miles per hour. It also touts some intelligent flight modes, which is impressive for a drone in this category. It's got point of interest, spiral up, image follow, tap fly or waypoints, gesture, photo and video controls, time lapse, ascension, and catapult. So on paper, the HS600 looks pretty impressive. I'm actually myself pretty impressed by those on-paper specs, as well as the curbside appeal of this drone. When I pulled it out of the packaging and out of its carrying case, I was rather impressed by the build quality of this drone. Overall, it is rock solid. What I really appreciate is the battery build quality. They make it very, very simple to understand. First of all, how to install the battery. Just pops in just like that. And then charging the battery is super easy as well. They've got a nice little USB-C port here that you just plug into, and all of a sudden, you're charging your battery. So real easy, no battery charging hubs, which could make it a little bit more convenient, but overall, USB-C charging, that's not a big deal, especially when you can charge it independently from the drone. So big ups there on the design. The only thing I don't like about the design and build of this drone is the gimbal assembly. And this is something that is usually a culprit for drones in this category. It just feels cheaply made, and I don't know that I totally trust its ability to perform, especially in adverse conditions or being able to take an impact. Now, most gimbals are not strong when it comes to taking an impact because that's not really what you're supposed to be doing anyway. But this one I feel like could break or be compromised very, very easily in the event of a crash. But let's talk about some of the performance pros and cons, and we're going to start with the cons. I'd like to get the negative stuff out of the way, and largely the cons that I found with this drone have to do with the flight characteristics, which is concerning because when you buy a drone, you really just want to fly it. I mean, the photos and videos are a great byproduct of that, but overall, you want to have flight performance to be top-notch when you purchase a drone, and I just didn't find that to be true with the HS600. First of all, the sticks on the RC have a lot of dead space in them. I mean, I had to put the sticks to the floor most of the time to get any type of a response from this drone, which was really frustrating because when I wanted to ease into a shot or go a little bit slower, I had to depend upon switching the flight modes, which basically it's like slow, medium, and fast for this drone. And that's just not convenient, especially when you're trying to get shots on the fly and you're trying to collect as much footage and as many photos as possible. Additionally, when I finally did get the drone to respond to the stick inputs that I was putting into the controller, it would go from like 0 to 60 very, very quickly and quite frankly, aggressively. You'd go from not moving at all to all of a sudden you have an extreme forward pitch or roll or whatever the case may be, and you just couldn't ease into shots or get a nice, smooth cinematic shot when flying this drone overall. There were a few times I was able to find a sweet spot on the sticks, but all in all, not a great user interface when it comes to inputs on the controller and how the drone responds to those. Additionally, the wind rating on this is a joke. I put this up at around 150 feet and it did okay holding position, but even in a light breeze, this struggled, especially when you were fighting a headwind. It just couldn't move. So I don't know where the folks at Holy Stone got that level 6 rating from, but I would say that is entirely not true. I'd put this maybe at like a level 2 at best. And the last con I'm going to share with you is also related to the flight performance of the drone, but the reason I'm saving it for last is, first of all, it's maybe the most concerning issue that I had, but it's also maybe just personal to me and the drone that I was sent. I had on several occasions a really terrible toilet bowl effect on this drone. And if you're not familiar with what that is, essentially, when you have a toilet bowl, the drone will be stationary and you may not be putting any inputs into the sticks, but all of a sudden, you'll start to notice it'll just start in a circular motion, a pattern just like this, and it'll get more violent, more aggressive, and the circle will become larger and larger on the drone until finally the drone can no longer sustain it and it crashes. Now, luckily, I've been flying drones for about 7 going on 8 years now, and I've seen a lot of situations similar to this, so I know how to counteract it and at least bring the drone down safely. I wasn't able to stop the toilet bowling, I just was able to fight back against it enough that I was able to bring it down slowly and land it. Now, that landing was extremely hard. In fact, I would probably classify it as a minor crash, a very gentle crash, but it still put the integrity of the drone at risk, bringing it down to the ground. And you might be asking, what would cause this issue? For me, it has to do with the compass on board. Now, why that's concerning is I actually took the time to calibrate the compass before each flight on this drone. I've flown drones like this before where I've made the mistake of not calibrating the compass before each and every flight. DJIs can handle that within reason, and many other high-end drones can as well, but lower-end drones typically have cheaper compasses, which means you need to calibrate them more often before your flights. And despite the fact that I calibrated the compass every time before putting this in the air, I still had this toilet bowl effect. So I don't know if the compass that I have on board here is defective or what's the issue with it, but I followed the steps precisely as they have it listed in the manual, as well as on their online resources. Like they have a video tutorial that they show how to calibrate the compass. I followed step by step perfectly, had successful calibrations each time, and I still had that issue. So again, that could be unique to my drone. There may be something defective within this drone, but it's something to be aware of, because even if it is unique to this drone, it could mean that there are other compasses out there that are defective or susceptible to defect. So keep that in mind. And okay, I need to come clean with you. I actually just fibbed to you. I have one more con I'd like to include in this list, and it has to do with the flight time. And really what I'm most disappointed about is the way that Holy Stone is trying to be deceitful when it comes to the total flight time of this drone. When you look at the marketing resources for the HS600, you'll see that they market 2 different battery packages for this drone, the dual battery and the triple battery. And what they say is if you order the dual battery, you get 56 minutes of flight time, and if you order the triple battery, you get 84 minutes of flight time. And in my opinion, what I think Holy Stone is trying to do here is lead consumers to believe that if you purchase the dual or triple battery packages, you're going to get increased flight time in one sustained flight, and that is not true. What it actually means is that if you purchase the triple battery package, you get a total flight time across all 3 batteries of 84 minutes. If you do the math, that's roughly 28 minutes per battery. Here's my other problem with it. It comes nowhere close to that. Over the course of about 10 to 12 flights, somewhere in there, I got around 19 minutes of flight time. Not terrible by any stretch of the imagination, but certainly not up to snuff with where it's being marketed at. So Little disappointed in Holy Stone and their marketing tactics there, but overall, they do okay with flight time. It's not great, but it's not terrible either. Just be aware, if you're thinking about or have already purchased this drone, you are not going to get 56 or 84 minutes of flight time respectively from one battery. You're going to get that across however many batteries you purchased. Now, let's talk about the pros. Let's end on a positive note when it comes to listing out my personal experience with this drone. As far as the application goes that you use to interface with the drone, it's rather intuitive. Is it the best part of the HS600 package? Not by a long shot. There are a lot of places that it could be improved, and overall, one of the things that I really can't stand about drones in this category and drones like the Holy Stone drones is that when you take a photo, the shutter actually takes time to process the image, and it shows you sort of like an overlay that slowly disappears as the image is processed. And to me, it's corny, it's gimmicky, and quite frankly, it doesn't move fast enough. When you're in the air, and especially when you're dealing with flight times that are much shorter than what was marketed to you, you need to make every second count. And so the fact that it takes the shutter that long to process a photo and save it to your device and the memory card, it's unacceptable. Now, on the video side of things, I was pretty happy with the interface overall. The other portion of the app that I think could be improved upon had to do with the intelligent flight modes. Now, because this drone did not win my trust the way it needed to, I actually didn't play around with the automated flight modes very much. This is a drone that was sent to me for free from Holy Stone, so I don't have any money invested in it. But when I look at the liability that I would face if something were to happen, like this drone just goes AWOL while it's in an intelligent flight mode, I didn't want to take that chance. So I didn't put it in the automated flight modes, but the menu for these flight modes is A, extremely hard to find, and B, it's not well labeled. You actually have to tap through each of the icons on the screen to see what each of them means. There's no titling on them so that you can quickly interface and know exactly where you're going. You actually have to learn your way around that menu in order to know what you're selecting and what mode you're setting the drone up for. Now, one thing I was really happy with performance-wise, not so much that it actually exists, but just the way it performed, was the built-in remote ID on this drone. Without doing any type of setup, which would defeat the purpose of the drone scanner app if you needed to. But regardless, without doing any type of setup on the drone or the app, I was able to open up the app and see the Holy Stone broadcasting remote ID. So you know when you put this drone in the air, you are compliant and you're covered with regard to remote ID. So big ups there that it was pretty easy. All I had to do was turn the drone on. Last but certainly not least has to do with the camera quality. Now, was I blown away by the HS600's camera quality? Not by a long shot. However, it did surprise me how good it actually is. Would I use this professionally? Absolutely not. The quality's not there to use it professionally, but in a pinch, I would absolutely use the photos and videos that come off of this on my social media platforms, which is a facet of my business and my brand. So that tells you something. I really liked the quality of the video especially. It came out fairly smooth, especially at 30 frames per second, and the 4K quality really lives up to its billing. It's not one of those situations where they took a 720p resolution and upscaled it to 4K. It's not grainy, it's pretty clear, and it's pretty sharp overall. So kudos to Holy Stone for putting a camera on board that actually performs pretty well for the category this drone falls into. Another reason I wouldn't use it commercially is because it doesn't shoot in log and it doesn't shoot raw photos. It can only shoot JPEGs and MP4s. So keep that in mind as well. When you use this drone for any type of aerial imaging, you're gonna get what you get coming off of the camera, and that's that. Now, on that note, not only does it save the photos and videos that you take to the SD card that you put into the drone, it can also be configured to save those photos and videos directly to the mobile device that you're using to interface with the app, whether that's your phone or your tablet. All you have to do is open up your photo library on that device, and all of them should be there, which means it's really easy to access that media after you've taken it, immediately after you've taken it, and share it wherever it needs to go. Super easy, super intuitive, and I gotta say big ups on not just the pretty good camera quality, but also the ease of use when it comes to sharing and distributing the media that you capture with this drone. Pretty easy, pretty simple, and I like it. Now, for my closing thoughts on the HS600 drone. It's just okay. It's nothing that blew me away, but it also didn't disappoint me either. It does okay. The biggest downside to it is that the flight characteristics are not reliable by any stretch of the imagination, and consistency is just not there. You're gonna have a hard time adjusting to the nuances of flying this drone. However, if you can get over that hurdle and you can just cope and deal with the fact that it's not a super reliable drone flight-wise, it's not bad for the category it falls into. Now, on that note, would I recommend this for somebody that's just getting started flying drones or is looking to buy their first drone? The key to that is looking at the price tags. Now, when you look at the different packages for the HS600, the most expensive and most all-inclusive package that they have is their triple battery package, and you can get that for around $500 at Walmart and on Amazon. And when you consider that price tag for the highest end package you can get with this particular drone, I would say there's a lot of opportunity to find better value in higher end technology out there. You just have to look a little bit. Out of respect for Holy Stone and the effort they put into actually conducting this review with me, I'm gonna keep those suggestions off of the video, but my suggestion to you would be just Google it, get on Amazon, search for it. You'll find the brands that are higher end that have better value overall. At the end of the day, the HS600 is not for everyone. If you're looking to get your first drone and you're serious about getting into aerial imaging professionally or at a high level at the very least, definitely skip this drone. Look for something a little bit higher end, something that's got better reviews and an overall better reputation in the market. However, if you're looking for something that you can beat around a little bit, that you're not really serious about using for professional photography or video, and you're not looking to get into the drone industry in a professional capacity, it's not a bad selection overall. There are definitely better options out there for you, but again, if you're just looking for something quick and easy to set up, this might be the way to go for you. But what do you think? Do you already have the Holy Stone HS600? If you do, share your experience down in the comments below. If you don't, and you're thinking about buying your first drone and you have more questions, or you just want to share your thoughts on this review video, let me know down in the comments below as well. If you liked this video, hit the thumbs up icon down below. It helps me out a lot, helps get this video out into the algorithm to more viewers like yourself. If you really love this video, you love drone content shot by drones, about drones, and for drone pilots, this is the channel for you. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And while you're at it, hit the bell icon too. You'll get a notification every time I post a new video. Until next time, I'm Chris the Drone Geek. This is the Holy Stone HS600 drone. We're out of here. See ya.
Yo, what you say? Steady screaming, YOLO.